firstly, Coach, thanks so much for taking the time out to speak to me. Obviously we are on the eve of the start of the new season. I guess, overall with Sabah, how exciting is it a time for the club, for you personally, and is the team ready to go for the 2022 season?
Well, it's not only the fans, yeah. To be honest, the players, officials, the management, everybody are excited for new season, and it's good that after I took over during Malaysia Cup last year, things has improved tremendously, not only on the field but off the field. So definitely we are looking forward for our new season. But even though with majority of new players, I can say about 70%. But football, it doesn't how good you are or how many new players, quality players that you have, they still need times to blend. So I hope along the way, especially in the first round, we can sustain and especially being consistent. That is our first target before we improve in the second half of the league.
Coach, you said, we know you took over late last year, during the Malaysia Cup campaign. When I spoke to you sometime last year, you did say that was, basically you going in first, assessing the whole picture, and then really building towards this season. What were some of the things you tried to, I guess, improve during the off season based on what you saw in those couple of months when you took over last year, and that you're trying to achieve for this season moving forward?
Okay, number one is not only about players, yeah. Of course, before I decided to come to Sabah, I've discussion with the top management, and I told them which players that I want them to come and join us. That is, of course, number one. Number two is about facilities. Yeah, we can have the best player in the world, but we don't have the facilities. I think we will disrupt our preparation. So, like I said, after coming late last year, and this year, we have our own field, and it's a very decent field for us to train. That is number one progression that I can see. And of course, number two, by getting the players to blend with the local, it's not easy. Yeah? Like I said, 70% of the players are new. So to blend with the locals, even with the foreign players, it will take a longer period. But at the moment, after 8 weeks of pre-season preparation, I can see that things are going very smoothly with the players, including the officials. Yeah, and I have 2-3 officials that are new to the team, but they are not new to me. They have been working with me before. I don't know whether you remember Rasto Bozic is with me as my assistant coach now. Martin as our physical trainer, our former national team physical trainer. I think you remember Helmi, the video analysis. He's here to join me also. So this kind of things that is very, very important, and I can see that everything is moving, as what I say, is moving very well towards our season.
Coach, I guess, for you on a personal note, I think this is from last year when you joined Sabah, this is your first return to club management for, I think 15 years. It must be. It's a long time.
Yeah,
you've been involved in the national team setup for so long. I guess, it must be exciting for you as well. But, I guess from that time, was it the right time? Do you think that, you just could return to club management, a new challenge? I guess, what really motivated you to I guess, dive back into club management again?
Well, time will tell, Gib. If I were to stay in FAM, if I decided to stay in FAM, I think I'll be safe. I have no pressure. I just maintain whatever the road map that we have, the structure that we have. But when I decided to come to Sabah, it's a big, big challenge. The challenge that I want for myself is, first, number one, I told myself that I've been in international arena, especially in youth, under 23, and even senior team. I've experienced everything, and now is about time for me to prove myself in the club competition. So when I took over, that is my aim. It's not for me to achieve everything. I know it's not going to be easy, because we know in our league also we have very strong teams, especially JDT, Terengganu, Selangor, Kedah. All of them have proven record. And Sabah is not consistent enough in the past few years. So what I'm trying to bring here is to make sure that we are consistent enough and we can challenge, especially for the top 5 spot. So from there, of course, I'm looking at something bigger than that, but let's focus on every single game, week in, week out, before we can achieve something.
Coach, you did mention, your tremendous experience, especially working with, younger players. And I remember we had a chat last year, and you did say that you do think that a lot of Malaysia Super League teams can be doing much more for nurturing these youngsters. Is that something we can expect from you in what is, I guess, a very raw Sabah side, but I'm sure there's plenty of talent there as well.
Well, I do understand. In the club, when I was the national team coach, and when I was a technical director, I know the clubs want to have result. And when we want to have result, we forget about the youth development in every club. As you can see, with my 30 squad that I have about 7 players that is under 22 or under 23. So these are all good young local players. So what I intend to do, of course, will stick to what I've said before, and definitely there will be a lot of playing time for them. They might not start, they might have opportunity to play. But as long as they have opportunity to play, number one, that will be very, very good. Number two, if they train with all these good players, definitely they can learn a lot of things. So it's a win-win situation for them. But most important, they have to work very, very hard. And like I said, if the players is 16 years old, 17 years old, if I think that is capable enough to play in the game, I will definitely put them as a first 11.
Coach, you did mention that they will be exposed to playing with some of some really good players in terms of the senior team, and I want to talk a bit about this squad that you've assembled, because you look at it and these are some big names that I guess Sabah is not really used to being associated with. You have Badro, you have Apek, obviously, you as a coach, you're familiar with them. How big a role, I guess, did you play? I know you don't like talking about yourself a lot, but how big a role was that relationship as well in convincing, someone like Badro, who's been in Kedah his whole life? We thought he's going to be a one club player. Even, JDT through the years couldn't, poach him, and he's joined you in Sabah now.
Yeah, I mean, when I remember when the first time I spoke to the management and I said that I'm going to get these two, especially Badro, yeah, I said, are you sure that he wants to come? So I said, leave it to me. Yeah, leave it to me. And when the time comes, then I will tell you. It's only about a matter of negotiating with him, especially about the terms. If we can agree terms, I think definitely he will come. So what I did, I remember, because those players like Ape, Irfan, even together with Badrul, they have been with me for quite some time. And every single year for the past 10 years, I think, they've been calling me right after the season ends. Coach, when are you going out from FAM? Are you coaching a club? I said, you don't worry. If I'm going to come out from FAM, I will call you guys. You guys will be the first one that I will call. So it keep on going on for the past 10 years. This is a real story, Gib. And until I decided to come. And when I decided to come out from FAM, that is when I called these people. And when I called them, now they start wondering, are you sure, Coach? You always say that you want to go out, but you never go out. But I see this time I'm very firm. When it come out on the news that, I'm out, I'm leaving FAM and I'm joining Sabah, I think they don't even think twice. They just grab the opportunity. I said, Padrol is 33 years old. Ape is 32, 31 years old. They are towards their peak of their career and the end of their career. It's not easy, but to convince them to come. At the same time, like Irfan Fazal, he's our Harimau Muda captain, a very talented player before, but due to injury, after Harimau Muda career, he was going a little bit hiccups on his performance. So I spoke to him. I said, Irfan, and now to top up with Irfan, same like Gary. we signed Gary, and Gary is still injured. Gary is doing his rehab in KL. So I told these two players the same thing. I said, this is your chance of a lifetime. I said, this is your second chance to prove to not to yourself, but to the fans that you are still good enough. And I personally believe that if they work very, very hard, and as what they've been showing at the moment, I think anytime they can come back to the national team, because these are all quality players. So it's not about only Badrul, but few of the players. But I'm taking a big risk, Gabe. I'm taking a big risk by taking them, not knowing whether they can perform or not after their injury. But that is a challenge, not only for me to achieve, but for the players to have another career that probably can get them back to where they should be.
Coach, I think another player in that boat is also Tanah Balan. I think he had that outstanding SEA Games a couple of years ago. I think, like you say, he's those kind of players that have sort of fallen by the side, a bit, but how much of it is also for you rewarding, talk about these players, Fad, Gary, even Tanah Balan that I've just mentioned, in a way to sort of get them back on your feet, because like you said, we know they are talented players. At times, you've done so much with youth, bringing up a youngster and them becoming the next big thing. But, is it equally rewarding to have someone that maybe has not delivered on their potential, but you still trying to get them to realize the full potential that they have?
Yeah. First of all, the confidence the confidence of the player. The moment I get in, the moment I talk to them, me, Gabe, I'll be very fair to everyone. I'll be very fair to not only to the senior player, to the local players, or to the foreign players, but the opportunity opportunity that I gave it to them. If they don't grab it, then definitely the other players will come in. Even though they are senior player, they are talented players. Most important, they have to work very, very hard, and they have to believe with themselves. Like me, like I said, when I retain you or I take you here, because I believe in that. I have the confidence in that. But if you yourself have no confidence and you take things for granted, then probably it's a lesson for me, and the door will definitely close for you. So it's up to them to fight for their place. And it's not easy. In the league, it's not like national team assignment. In the national team assignment, is a tournament with few matches, but in the league, it's a very long season. So if everyone can maintain their performance, especially like Tanah Balan and those players like Gary, Irfan, can maintain their performance, definitely will be helpful for our team, especially like I said, the season going to end about 30 to 40 matches.
Coach, this is a bit of a cheeky question, but you mentioned all your old boys that waiting for you to sign them the moment you took over a club side. Any of your old boys we should be quietly looking out for that could be joining you? Not now, but in the next 12 months.
Well, it might happen. It might happen in the mid window. You will never know, Gabe. I hope I don't have to make any drastic changes during the second window. Like I said, I always believe with the players, and if I were to tell you about my former players, I think the whole squad of Harimau Muda wanted to come with me. You see, so unfortunately, I can't do that. Yeah, I have to think about something else, and of course, the local players that we have down here also, they are talented players.
Because I want to talk a bit about your Indonesian player Saddil Ramdani. We've seen Indonesia do really well at the last Suzuki Cup. We've seen some of their younger players going to bigger leagues as well. We saw a bit of him last year as well, showing glimpses, individual brilliance. For you, how exciting is it, I guess, to work with a player like that? And is it about getting even more out of him?
Yes, I remember when I came during Malaysia Cup, he was injured. Yeah, and like I said, we improved a lot of things off the field. When they were injured, there's no systematic approach on his injury. So when I came, after sending him to see a specialist, we sent him to KL to meet up with one of the sports surgeon, and doing his rehab there. And he comes back and joined us early this year. And he looks very, very, very good in terms of his injury. And after, I say, 8 weeks of preparation, looking at him, looking at the young players, the talents, the quality that he has, for me, he's one of the best and top player in Southeast Asia. I don't deny it. I've seen a lot of players in Southeast Asia, of course, the players like Chanatip. Remember, we met Chanatip 2015 in Singapore SEA Games. Even before that, he plays in 2013 SEA Games in Myanmar. So this is where the players, and he's very young. He's only 22. So with the skills that he has, the speed that he has, and the maturity in the game, I believe Saddil definitely this year, I expect him to be one of our top players. And I'm not surprised if he will be outstanding with the national team of Indonesia.
Coach, just a couple more questions. We did touch on earlier a bit about, Sabah, I guess, not really one of the traditional powerhouses in Malaysian football. You weren't, I guess, mention them in the same breath as JDT, Selangor, Terengganu, even Kedah. But, with this exciting project you're building here, will it also be, trying to improve the stature and the sort of the how big name the club is? Because, we rarely see players from Sabah getting called up to the Malaysian national team, maybe one or two over the last couple of years. But will it also be proof that the good work you're doing, that the next time Malaysia release its squad list, we start seeing more and more Sabah players actually featuring in the national team squad?
Yeah, it takes sometimes, Gabe, like I said, I can't change everything in a split second. Yeah, I'm trying to improve a lot of things off the field. At the same time, I'm helping them in restructuring their youth development program. And when we start our youth development program, hopefully by mid of this year, then definitely I expect a lot of young players that will come out from the system to represent our country. And for the senior team, at the moment, currently, of course, I don't see that they are local players like Badrul, Khairul, Fahmi, Dominic Tan, and Rizal Ghazali. They are all in the national team. But the locals, of course, we have Ro Wilson, that I believe that is one of the talented player in Sabah. And there's one young player, Haras, that plays with our under 23 squad. So these are all players that are capable to knock on the national door. But they have to work very, very hard. Like I said, if they don't have enough minutes of play, probably they will never get a chance to prove themselves, especially for national team. So it's not only about a short-term target, but we have a long-term target. Like I always told them, or whenever I spoke to the management, especially, I said, I'm here is not about just to have glory. Of course, glory is very important, but we have to look at a bigger picture where we have a proper system. And when I leave Sabah, definitely I want to look at Sabah having all the facilities, number one, as what the professional club is. And they have the good structure in their youth development program. So this will be a long way to go. So I hope that, I hope that it will happen. But like I said, it's not so soon. It will take a little bit of time. But of course, we have our short-term target, that what we want.
Coach, just one last one from me. You did mention taking it slowly, knowing that it doesn't happen overnight. I think you did mention a top 5 target for this season at the very least. But, overall, I guess just looking at the raw talent, the what you're trying to improve with the club, off the field, on the field, I guess, what's the long-term target for Sabah? Whether it be you still being there, or implementation that you have done that has led to further success. I guess, where do you think this club can actually go? But more importantly, where should it be aiming to?
Well, what I believe, with all the programs and all the plans that we have, what are we looking at for Sabah to be very consistent? Number one, in Super League. We cannot be at bottom 3 and we are struggling every year when we participate. We want to have a very balanced team where not only trying to be top 5, but make sure that every single performance, every single game that we play will be a very, not a comfortable win, but is challenging. And we can challenge a team like JDT, Kedah, Selangor. But of course, in future, it all depends on the management. If we have more money, Gabe, every club is the same. If you have more money, of course, I want to have much more better players. But at the moment, at the current situation, I think we are not rich, we are not that poor, but we are average team. But with this average team, with the commitment of the players, I believe that we can achieve the target, like I said, like what you said, top 5 in the league this season.
Coach, thank you so much for the time and really wishing you all the best for this season.
Thank you, Gabe. I hope I'll see you in KK. Yeah.